After a traumatic experience or loss, like the death of someone we love, it's easy to avoid the hard work of grieving. Instead of processing that pain, people may try to numb it through drugs, alcohol, or acting out. Others pour their energy into distractions, anything to keep from confronting what's underneath. For today's guest on Grieving Out Loud, Hakeem Bourne McFarlane, that outlet was sports. After his younger brother died from cancer at just 6 years old, he threw himself into athletics as a way to cope with the grief he hadn't yet faced.
My team picked me up from the hospital like they always do, because I was either home, practice, hospital. That was it. My team would pick me up, and I didn't know what to say, but they're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Because they didn't know he's always in the hospital. They didn't know he died. So I finally just said it. I was like, "My brother died." Everybody's like, there's like 12 of us in the van, and like, what? Coach pulled over and was like, I'm like, "Nah, keep driving. Just keep driving. We about to win this game."
While sports may seem like a healthier outlet than some, Hakeem says it became a way to avoid his emotions. He also placed an intense and ultimately unhealthy amount of pressure on himself to succeed in his brother's name.
I have to go to the NFL. I must take care of Mama D, take care in my brother's name. I have to make sure there's no other sick kids out here that have to go through that. I'm going to start this Make-A-Wish. My mom wanted to do this whole annual thing. We had this huge dream, like, I got to get rich. I got to get sport. I got to play sports and get rich so we can help families.
But what happens when the thing you've been using to push your feelings aside suddenly isn't there anymore? When that outlet disappears, the grief doesn't. In this episode of Grieving Out Loud, Hakeem opens up about how everything started to fall apart after an injury, how substance use pushed him either further away from sports, and how he was finally forced to face the grief he'd been avoiding. Now, he's helping hundreds of others transform their lives through small, consistent steps and accountability.
And if you want to heal, you have to start by embracing your intention when nobody else is watching. You can't go play sports. You can't go get a bunch of women. You can't go spend money. You can't go be a good parent. You have to be able to heal when you're by yourself to really have that impact on the people you love.
Today's guest is someone whose story is going to stay with you. Hakeem Bourne McFarlane was 16 years old when he lost his 6-year-old brother. And as he'll tell you, that loss split his life into a before and an after. What followed was more than a decade of grief that had nowhere to go, turning into anger, addiction, and survival mode, the kind of spiral that's so easy to mistake for just living. What makes Hakeem's perspective so powerful on a show like this one is that he's here to talk about something that we don't discuss nearly often enough: what grief does to the sibling left behind, the children in the family who carry guilt, confusion, and quiet rage, often without anyone noticing. Today, Hakeem is a public speaker and the founder of the Choose Yourself movement, where he uses his own story to help others understand that what they're numbing isn't weakness, it's unprocessed grief. His message is that adversity doesn't define you, your choices do. I think you're going to feel the truth in everything that he shares today. Hakeem, welcome to Grieving Out Loud.
Thank you so much. What an amazing intro. Thank you for that. I'm honored to be here.
Well, you're welcome. And I am so sorry for the loss that you experienced at such a tender age, such a young sibling. It must have been heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was. I didn't really deal with that until I was forced into solitude. And I think a lot of us try to figure out a way to process grief. But a lot of the importance of processing grief is the flip in the mindset. And if we don't do the work leading up to that experience, to that loss, a lot of times we do what we think we're supposed to be doing. And it comes in forms of numbing and masking, people pleasing, staying busy, blaming, complaining. And we do that until we start to choose ourselves.
Take me back to 16-year-old Hakeem and what was going on in your family, what was happening with your brother. Can you tell me that story?
Yeah, of course. I was the only child until I was 10, me and my mom. Shout out Mama D, doing what she could do with what she had. She was a server working doubles all the time, but she made it to a lot of my sports games. That's where I really found my siblings, my friends. Couldn't really fit in because the light-skinned dude, it wasn't as hip as it is today. There's gonna be a lot of light-skinned people in about 20, 30 years, but in Minneapolis, Minnesota, it was kind of a new thing. So I found my people in sports. So sports was really my passion. That's where I found myself. That's where I gained respect. That's where I gained leadership. That's where I gained a voice. And so that's where I thought would prove that I was healed.
Yeah, something you said in there, I just want to touch on for a minute because I don't know if I've had anyone describe that to me quite the way that you just did about being light skinned. So you didn't really feel like you fit in. You weren't dark enough or light enough, white enough or dark enough. That's what I'm hearing from you. And it's such an interesting concept to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my black friends would talk about me getting sunburned, and if I slap you, you turn red. And my white friends would be like, "I bet you jump over that fence. You're fast. You're lucky you got long Achilles." And I'm like, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't really know. I think my skin is perfect brown. That's what my mom said.
Yeah. So that embedded racism really was there and you felt different. You felt different right from the beginning.
Yeah, and I embraced it though. I really did. I used to wear whatever I wanted. I was a class clown, prankster. I was really good with my words my whole life, and that's something that was suppressed. And I think a lot of us who have a gift naturally embrace the gift subconsciously, unintentionally, and then our parents, the culture, society tends to suppress it because they want you to sit down in a box and pass or fail or heaven or hell or or follow the law or go to jail, and they try to do all that. So choosing yourself is figuring out how to uncover that suppression that was typically, um,
Yeah, every kid encounters that, right?
yeah,
Some sort of suppression of who they really are. So your brother at that time, you were only child for quite a while, then you had this little brother, and what happened?
yeah. He was born with short gut syndrome and leukemia. First person ever with both.
Oh.
So short gut
Oh,
syndrome is he didn't have as much intestines as he should, so he couldn't eat whole foods for 18 months. Then he could eat like rice and noodles. Then he could start having Pedialyte. So we're always sneaking food around him and trying not to, let him see that he was different or that he was restricted. And that became normal. But I never felt like he was going to pass. I thought he was always going to make it through because that's what me and my mom believed. We believed in us always making it. We didn't have a lot of materialistic things, but we had love, support. We argued a lot, but we always got over it. And that's was I think a big part of my mindset was okay, it might be there might be tension right now, there might be miscommunication, but it's always going to get better because that's the upbringing that I was around. And when he started to develop, he would be in and out the hospital probably about 65, 70% of his life. He was in the hospital and having leukemia and radiation and chemo and then bone marrow transplant and then having to have all these different surgeries and all these different doctors. And I just kind of saw them treat my brother like a project because there were so many different doctors because nobody knew what to do. They're like, I don't know. We give him this for chemo, it messes up the steroids for short gut syndrome. We try to feed him this, it messes up the radiation for chemo. So all these things were contradicting. Nobody knew. And I started to see like a different type of intent behind what the hospital was doing. And that built a little bit of resentment towards authority. Cause in my head, if you got a white coat, you're supposed to have it supposed to have the solution.
mhm. And then I assume this consumed your mother's life.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She ended up moving the last 2 years of her life, put on 40 pounds, eating hospital food, which y'all watch out for that hospital food. Put on
It's not the healthiest. Right, right. And so then ultimately your brother died in the hospital?
Yeah, yeah. So as my mom turned into his caregiver, protector, 24/7 provider, she was his mom. She always called me. She kept calling, but I put up like this wall because I didn't want her to see that I was hurting, and I didn't want her to
Sure.
worry about me.
You appeared to be an adult at 16, but you're not. I mean, you kind of, you appear to be able to take care of yourself, but you still need your parent.
Yeah, and at 14,
Yeah.
15, 16, I think we all kind of go through that rebellious phase. But for me, the rebellious wasn't out of disrespect. It was out of, I'm cool, Ma, just go take care of him. I'm fine. You
Mhm.
ain't got to call me. I'm good. But they didn't come off as loving upon reflection, but she could feel it. And I felt her love too.
And so when he died, what was your brother's name?
Matthew.
Matthew. So when Matthew died, did you even know you were grieving, or did you feel a sense of relief because this had consumed your family, which would be a normal feeling for a human being to feel after something had consumed so much of your life? What was going through your head as a 16-year-old?
It was Saturday morning. My phone had about 30, 40 missed calls. It was about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I had a basketball game at, I think it was 1 p.m. that day. And, when you look at your phone and you're like, uh-oh, why is the person calling me, texting so much? This just got to be bad. And we had heard him say 3 months and 6 months and 18 months, and he's not going to live past this. And I'm like, okay, I'm done listening to y'all because y'all keep miscalculating his death time. And we're stressing out, and then he lives longer. So now I'm like, I don't even believe y'all. But then all of a sudden, I get this phone call. She just quiet on the phone. She's like, Matthew's going to die today. And I was just silent. She was like, your uncle's coming to get you to bring you to the hospital. Hung the phone up, and then I just tore up everything. I punched holes in walls. I flipped furniture. I yanked all my clothes off, broke down into tears. And that was the last time I cried. Got into the van. Got into my uncle's truck, went to the hospital. There, my immediate family, whoever was there. And I actually had a very vivid imagination that my great-grandmother was there this whole time until 2 years ago. I found out she was never there. But this whole time I thought she was there. I was like hallucinating it.
Our memories play tricks on us
Yeah,
sometimes.
I swear she was there this whole time, but I guess she wasn't. So I got there. My mom let me be the last one in the room with him. So I said what I had to say to him, pulled the plug, went out to the
You
parking lot.
pulled the plug?
Yeah, I was the last one.
Wow.
Yeah, so she asked me if I wanted to be the last one. I'm like, yep, I'll be the last one to talk to him. He had been non-coherent for, a few weeks, but he had done that and come back before. So I'm like, I don't believe it. And then I got into the van. I went down to the parking lot. My team picked me up from the hospital like they always do, because I was either home, practice, hospital. That was it. My team would pick me up. And I ain't know what to say, but they're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Because they didn't know he's always in the hospital. They didn't know he died. So I finally just said it. I was like, "My brother died." Everybody's like, there's like 12 of us in the van. And like, what? Coach pulled over and was like, I'm like, "Nah, keep driving. Just keep driving. We about to win this game." Went and played a basketball game. I didn't play the best, but from that point on, sports became my mask. The good thing is I got really good. I was in the gym, running track, lifting weights, catching, studying sport. I was always occupied by sports.
Sounds like a healthy diversion from grief.
Seems like it. But
Uh-huh.
the thing about putting your emotions into a safe and locking it with something external, once that thing that's external is gone, you got to deal with that 16-year-old boy that you suppressed.
'Cause he's still there,
It's,
and the grief is still
it's
there.
still there. You just locked it under that first game. And so now I'm fully immersed in, if I have to go to the NFL, I must take care of Mama D, take care in my brother's name. I have to make sure there's no other sick kids out here that have to go through that. I'm going to start this Make-A-Wish. My mom wanted to do this whole annual thing. We had this huge dream, like, I got to get rich. I got to get sport. I got to play sports and get rich so we can help families. I can help Mama D. We can travel, and we can be free finally from being broke our whole life and broken emotionally.
That's a lot of pressure to take on.
Yeah, I put it on myself though.
We all do that, right? We don't, it's not necessarily external pressure, it's oftentimes internal pressure that
Right.
we put on ourselves.
Right. I feel
Yeah.
like that's really all of the pressure. We think other people put pressure on us, but it's just us blaming them for the pressure most times. But some people do, obviously, depending on situation. But so then I went D1 full ride. Got a full ride out of high
Wow.
school. And when I went D1, I hadn't been drinking or smoking this whole time until fourth term. So this was the summer between my freshman and sophomore year, June 28th. And then my sophomore, junior, senior year, I didn't drink or smoke or nothing. Fourth quarter of my senior year, I started drinking. My dad is 14 years sober. He was a rock star, Jamaica mine, big partier. My Mama D, same thing. She was drinking every night, pills every night since before Matthew and after Matthew. Before me, my 10 years, and then when Matthew was born, she quit. And then when he died, she went back. So whenever she had me or Matthew to focus on, she was quit cold turkey. But if when there was nothing to take care of, she's bottle of wine, cigarettes, anxiety pills, depression. She went into the psychedelic meds heavy after Matthew. And when that I got that full ride, when I started drinking, each sip was a crack on the safe. Each sip, yeah.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Every time I took a sip, because alcohol forces you to zoom out. That's why they used to have a 3 martini lunch. People get more creative. People have higher test scores in speed puzzles because they're not in their head so much. They just get creative.
Loosens you up.
Loosens you up. People, it's a scientific fact, right? When you can not be so distracted by sports, by the mission, by suppression, by I'm a man, I can't cry, I need to prove myself to my mom. And you're like, you start to loosen up that focus and you start to crack the ego. There's everything. That's what people say, you become more of who you are when you drink or when you get money. Both of them are kind of a type of high. Those emotions would come out. So anger that I suppressed when I tore up my room, that's what was in there. And the thing about life, you reflect what you project. So when you're playing sports, you're focused on sports. Oh, I'm scoring touchdowns. I'm fine. Oh, home runs, baseball. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Nobody asked me if I'm okay. Everybody in high school knew my brother died. Everybody's asking me I was fine. All the girls, all the coaches, all the recruits, they knew. Everybody asked me, I'm fine. I'm fine. Look, I'm scoring touchdowns. I'm fine. Started drinking. I start to feel that anger. Now, the resentment I had for the doctors, the resentment I had for my dad, the resentment I had for the coaches, the resentment I had for God letting my brother die, the resentment I had for not my mom not being able to be around me because Matthew was sick. Not that she chose to, but she couldn't be. All that was like, I ain't gotta listen to nobody. Y'all don't see me hurting? Don't tell me what to do. My brother died. Y'all want to complain about what I'm doing now. So I started talking back to the coaches. I still could put the mask on, but I was partying and playing. But then my emotions turned into the character I become, and I started to become uncoachable in life. So I quit, just like I ran from the grief by masking it. Left my D1 full ride, went D2 on another scholarship. This was in 2008 spring. I graduated. I went down D1 full ride for the whole summer. By the time the first game came, I had already quit. Went D2, another full ride. First game, first play, tore my ACL. You can't play. God said, you better stop running. I'm going to make sure you can't walk. Sit with it. I was like, that's fine. I'll go party. I'm either numbing or I'm masking, not dealing with it.
Right, running. It's just external things is what I see. Like you're looking for something outside yourself to hide from what you didn't want to face and what you really couldn't face at the time.
Are you ready to protect the next generation from the dangers of substance use? Emily's Hope has created a comprehensive K-12 substance use prevention curriculum designed to educate, empower, and equip students with the tools they need to make healthy choices. Our age-appropriate lessons start in kindergarten and build through high school, using science, real stories, and interactive learning to help kids understand their bodies, brains, and risk of drug use. We're already reaching thousands of students across multiple states, and we're just getting started. Visit emilyshopeedu.org to learn more and share our curriculum with your school administrators and counselors. At Emily's Hope, we believe prevention begins with education. Let's work together to keep our kids safe.
That was it, exactly. Either mask with sports, look at me, I'm good, I'm fine, or numb, partying, people pleasing, nobody's caring about their problems, we're all just talking, having fun. But the partying part was surfacing unhealed emotions, which was anger. So 4 weeks later, I'm on crutches at my party, Some dude tries to walk into my birthday party. I punched him in the mouth, knocked his tooth out, got 20 years probation, first-degree assault, 86 months over my head.
20 years
He
probation?
didn't even press charges. The state did. I was in Winona County. Now, you can look up that county.
Wow.
It's not made. And if you are not white, you better shut up and run the ball. And they warned me about that when I got there. They said, careful with them women, careful with that partying. This is not the county to be a black man out here speaking up, living free. I was like, I'm not listening to you either.
Wow, that's a huge thing to hang over your head. So,
19 years old, felony assault,
yeah.
crime ever, besides curfew ticket. Now I'm a felon.
Wow.
So now I get kicked out of that
Yeah.
school. Right? Now I tore my ACL, I done lost my full ride, lost that. Now I go back to Mama D's house, live with her. Shout out Mama D for giving me the big room. Got 4 more knee surgeries because I didn't listen to the physical therapist because I kept trying to play basketball too early in recovery. Now I'm doing security downtown in the hood of Minneapolis, supposed to be on crutches and partying every night, fighting and blacking out in the black market. At 19, turned 20 during that year. That was a whole year. Surgeries, meniscus, 60 days, meniscus, 30 days, meniscus, because I wasn't doing the work. I was partying. I'd rather party than go to physical therapy. And I had to work until 3 a.m. fighting people in the club, getting paid to let my anger out. But I never lost the dream of playing football. I knew I would go back. So I
Really?
still had the mask in me. Yeah, I was just taking a year off to recover my knee. That's what I told myself. I literally was redshirted too, so I was able to go back to school as a freshman again because I redshirted because I got hurt in the first half of the season. So to save my credits, I said I dropped out or agreed to leave with the school. It was a whole thing. So then I'm at home doing this, and then I get so deep in the black market. My best friend was security, who I thought was my best friend, and we get into a huge altercation, and I woke up in pain. I said, I can't be out there doing that. I need to go back to school. I need to get back on the field. But you can't go to a university if you got a felony in the last 5 years. So my options were limited. So I had to go to a private school. I went to Augsburg University. Shout out to Augsburg for seeing a little bit of hope in me. I had to talk to the president.
I'm familiar with that school. We actually toured it with one of my kids once.
Nice. Yeah,
So,
it's a private
yeah.
school right next in
Yep.
the Schmutt. It's on the U of M West Bank, 94th and Riverside, Highway 94 and Riverside. Shout out to Coach Hagee. Shout out to the president and the chair of the communications department. I had to talk to all of them and prove to them that I wasn't a freaking liability on the campus because I had a felony assault against a human. Okay, fine. Thank you all for seeing it in me. Played freshman year. This is where I perfected the balance. Because when I had the mask, before I started partying, the mask was sports. When I didn't have sports, I would numb it with partying. Then when I had the mask, I would dabble with the balance. When the mask was gone, when I got injured, I went into the numbing. Now I'm at college. Now I done perfected the balance. I'm 2 years after high school, 20-year-old freshman. During the season, lock in. Only party on Mondays. During the off season, I started a promotional company and started throwing parties, started bartending. So the off season, I would numb, slack off in school. During the season, I would lock in for my team, for the mask, with the hope of going to the NFL. Freshman year, mask numb. Summertime party, cut it off at July 4th, lock in for the season on September. I did this like clockwork. I ended up being an All-American. I played wide receiver, safety, kick return, and punt return. I was a big part of this team. I was leader of the chant. I was leader of all the freaking workouts. I locked in for this team when I needed to, but I was D3. I was made for D1 in the NFL. This was an easy program to be in, so I didn't get challenged enough to have to lock in all year. Sophomore year, mask it with sports, numb in the spring. Junior year, mask numb. Senior year, mask numb. Now, the Dallas Cowboys came to my school, but I had been partying too much. I couldn't run fast and nothing. I wasn't even prepared. Tried to go play arena football, but my PO said I had to be an She gave me a travel permit to go out there to play. I made the team, but then I had to come back to Minneapolis for 40 days to get approved to transfer. And then if I don't make the team out there, I got to wait out there for 40 days to come back and transfer. I'm like, what? What kind of stuff is that? What if I want to go to play for the Heat in Cali? What if I want to go play for? I got to do this every time. So I came back. My spot was taken, and I broke my ankle. Now the mask is gone for good. Now this is my darkest time right here. The darkest time. And I was not sober for 2 years straight. Ended up getting with the same best friend I did security with. We would go out, fight all the time. In and out of jail, probation violation, in and out of jail. Pill.
You never got sent to prison?
No, I went to jail twice for 8 months. I got the judge.
Oh.
I'm glad they,
County jail?
yeah, they gave me 364 days
Uh-huh.
twice. Had 364. Wow. If they give you 365, you go to prison. But they were kind enough not to. They must have seen the potential, and they gave me less than a year. And so ended up getting into another fight while I was already on felony probation, did 8 months, got out for 30 days, got a DWI, went back for 8 months. You do 2/3 of your time. I got sentenced to a year, did 8 months. And then this is where everything changed. The second 8 months that I got sentenced to, the first 8 days was solitude. This is my first time being sober since I broke my ankle.
Did you go through withdrawal?
Yes, the worst ever. And everybody, the whole jailhouse locked down.
Did you get any help with the withdrawal symptoms? Did they help you through that?
Somebody just overdosed in the jailhouse. So they stopped all meds. They said, y'all ain't leaving your cell, no shower, no phone call. I didn't have a pen or a pad or a book. I didn't have no commissary. All I had was my blanket and my dang roll up on this 5'10" metal slab, and I'm 6'3". That's all I had. And then this process that I went through is what we all go through in a transition. The first is withdrawals. The very first thing we go through is withdrawals. Then we go through the victimhood, the anger, blame, the complaint. Then we go through trying to fit in to something. Some people usually go back to toxic relationships. Some people usually relapse. Some people go and sell their soul for whatever they got to get money to be able to do what they got to do. The fourth phase is peace and acceptance and accountability. Day 4, when that hit me, I did 25 push-ups and 25 sit-ups every 15 minutes between the first meal and the third meal. That showed me 3 things. 1, you can only control what you can control. 2, ain't nobody coming to save you, not even your savior, until you align your behavior with the things you pray for.
No one is coming to save you. That is one thing I think people need to hear.
Not even your savior. The one you pray to at church all day, he ain't coming until you become the version he intended for you to be, the self we talk about when we talk about choosing yourself. You got to be that one first to be able to see the blessings. Don't pray and beg showing a lack of faith. Everything is on the way.
And you realize this after that detox while you're in jail. You realized all this.
Well, I realized I was the only one going to be able to save me because I done got bailed out so much. My girl left me in there, took all the money. My mom was the only one that I could talk to. My dad called my girl and said, don't bail him out. My uncle was bailing me out. He couldn't bail me out. The PO was talking about one more time, you're doing 7 months in prison. I was at the bottom. I was at the last straw. So I'm grateful that thing was shut down because on day 4 is when I started doing these push-ups. And then the third thing it taught me was, if you can find a way to struggle, it will force you to be present. Because I couldn't think about nothing but them dang push-ups and sit-ups because I was tired. I smelled like booty. My lips was chapped. My throat was dry. The jailhouse water had my whole face all messed up, but I knew I had to do these push-ups. And so for 4 days, I did 1,200 push-ups, 100 push-ups an hour, 25 every 15 minutes for 12 hours for 4 days. And that was a huge release of blaming, victimhood, complaining, because I was beating myself with physical exertion, which is why now I wake up 3 a.m. and go to the gym every day because I start with the struggle.
3 a.m., that's pretty early.
Yeah, I woke up at 2:30 today.
Oh, what time do you go to bed at night?
Yesterday at 7:30. I do about 5 to 7 hours of sleep, and then about 30 minutes to 2 hours of exercise. And that's what we talk about in the Choose Yourself movement is flexibility in your foundation.
As somebody who always turned to athleticism, always turned to physical movement to cope with things, it would make sense to me that you would turn to that in a time where you were searching for something. I
Mhm.
mean, you were in a lowest point in your life. But then it's much more than just doing push-ups and sit-ups, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's committing to your word and showing gratitude for who you are.
Do you think that was always in you,
Committed to my word.
even in your low points?
Committed to my word.
Yeah, I mean, how did you come to that realization, or what do you think it is in you that made it possible for you not to relapse, for you to go on to start this movement, to do what you're doing today? Because not everybody is able to do that.
Yeah. Well, you just ain't lost enough yet. You maybe got to lose some more. Because if you want to sit in it, the purest form of love comes from acceptance and action. And when I say get over it and get after it, it doesn't mean suppress it, numb it, and mask it. That's what I did. It means embrace it for as however long you want to and figure out a way to find the gratitude and the grief, the transformation and the trauma, the power and the pain. Now, I didn't listen to nothing for 11 years. All those dang things happened. I didn't lose enough until I lost my health, time, and freedom at the same time, and money.
Arthur C. Brooks said, "Don't waste your suffering." I think about that a lot. I'm really trying to use my suffering to help other people, which helps me. Uh, and I think I hear you saying the same thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, you got to choose yourself to be chosen. And if God chose you to be here, what version did he choose for you to be for you to be? Well, that's who we choosing. You can choose your habits, your emotions, what you think other people want you to be, or you can choose your intention, which is the deep-seated God in us all.
We all have a lot more control over our own lives than we think we do. At least we have control in however we respond to things.
Yeah, I mean, and you can start by skipping the snooze. See, if you can't control your mornings and your consumption, don't talk about not having control. You got to start with small things. In the Choose Yourself community, we do 30 days without sugar, liquor, weed, screens, nicotine, or caffeine, or gambling, video games, porn, doom scrolling, gluten or dairy. 30 days, 3 times a year. You know, we got hundreds of people in this challenge, and some people can't stop drinking coffee before water in the morning. Some people can't put their phone down before they get into bed. Some people can't
Yeah.
stop gambling and stop freaking watching these sexually explicit sites.
There are a lot of vices, there are a lot of addictions out there. I mean, our society is filled with them, our culture is filled with them. Certainly, I like my coffee, and certainly I scroll on my phone. And you want people to give all of that up at once for 30 days, everything?
Like I said, it's a balance in the universe. Now, if you want to reset your gut, reset your relationship with your vices, really embrace solitude and awareness and use the innate gifts inside all of us to embrace and experience life instead of seeking caffeine just to deal with your kids, instead of seeking wine just to go to sleep, instead of smoking weed just so you can eat, instead of taking ibuprofen so you can walk, which you're not exercising, you're not stretching, and you're not repairing your gut. See, that's the quick fixes in consumption. And then we wonder why people ain't getting lucky. Then we wonder why people got anxiety and depression, like Mama D.
Right.
Then we wonder why people out here hooked on sugar and nicotine talking about they're sober, but you're still feeding that addictive gene. Okay. This is the whole thing to
Right.
break free completely of the vices is how you really find your power. You can go from one addiction to another. Fine. We all addicted to something. We all got our vice. But how long does it last? And it's not about being stuck up. Okay. I still like to enjoy myself, but not within those challenges. 80% healthy, 20% fun, 100% happy. Life can't be redone.
That's a nice saying. And you have to have a healthy body to have a healthy mind, right? I mean, you have to really take care of your body to take care of your mind, and also take care of your mind to have a healthy body. I think it's just also interrelated.
Yeah. Well, you know, the gut and the mind were combined when we developed in the womb till it was separated by your spine.
Brain-gut connection is
Yeah,
huge.
the vagus nerve.
Yes.
And the body is a
Mhm.
physical manifestation of the mind. So we can tell if you're not being kind to your mind. Now, there's a fine line between being nice and being kind, because a nice person will tell an unfit person that they look just fine, but they be lying. Because I could see your choices showing in your physique, and I could see your sin showing in your skin. He can see you. You see, a lot of people will go to church and judge other people for sinning, but then don't have that same approach when they do it themselves. Then it becomes an excuse, comfort, and convenience. And that's the type of mindset that comes from religion. Now, if you go to the root of all religions, it comes to creativity over consumption. It comes to contribution in community over convenience and comfort. It comes to solitude, silence over noise and distractions. And it comes to saying thank you when you pray over saying please.
That's a pretty simplified way to look at it, and true that if you look at most religions, those are some basic tenets of anything that's out there. How many people have joined you on this choose yourself movement that you started?
Well, I got over 500,000 followers across Meta. We got, you know, usually around, we keep our retreats around 15 to 20. We keep the workshops around 30 to 40. And I'm continuing to create courses. I'm continuing to create workshops and opportunities to grow in person. This is a whole ecosystem. Content is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a community that meets every Tuesday at 10 a.m., which fluctuates. We also have my book and the podcast. So these are all components for you to tap in for very cheap to see if this is something that you're ready to do. You're ready to be accountable. Then we do worksheets. We do worksheets too. They call it inner sizes. So you can GYM, and that's grow your mind inside. Workshops, retreats, and then we do vendor networking events where you can build your brand from your story and then present it to other creators.
Have you lost a loved one to overdose or fentanyl poisoning? I'd like to invite you to share their story on our new Emily's Hope Memorial website called More Than Just a Number. They were our children, siblings, cousins, husbands, wives, aunts, uncles, and friends. So much more than just a number. You can submit a memorial today on morethanjustanumber.org.
You can learn more about the Choose Yourself community in the show notes for this episode. We've included a direct link there. You'll also find links to other Grieving Out Loud episodes focused on overcoming grief and adversity. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you take just a moment to rate and review it. And please share it with someone who you know will find it helpful. And have you seen some success with people who participated in these?
Woo! I just had a Tree. Shout out to Tree on the podcast. Shout out to Energy Ashley starting her own branch. Shout out to Serena starting her own branch of CYC. Tree we just had a whole conversation on the Choose Yourself channel, but she's been really inspiring everybody in the CYC. We have people who have been three pots of coffee a day quit from the challenge because of community. People who've quit vapes, people who have quit Percocets, people who have launched brands, people who have launched businesses, people who have saved their families, people who have made money. These are all things that happen all the time. We have a girl who just launched her first album who was scared to even speak. Now she's singing because we believe in ourselves, which gives space for you to believe in you. But if you get around a bunch of victims and blamers and complainers and you're the one that believes in yourself, they're going to look at you a type of way. Oh, look at him. He changed. Oh, he's got a big ego. Oh, why is he always so happy? What? Don't nobody. Bye. We don't need that. And people going to tell you you've changed, but that's the purpose of life. So Tree's story was she got banished from the reservation and now she's went through a lot of legal issues, actually got her kids back on her own. And now she's launching a podcast, food truck, and her kids are even launching businesses. And they're also embracing the choose yourself process. We got Ashley, who just launched her own branch of the CYC. We're on month 10 called CYC Kids for parents, kids, and teachers, caregivers, and leaders. And she's creating her own contribution for kids. She's a teacher in the Bronx for 13 years, energy coach, nutrition coach, and a parent of two. You also have Amanda, who's now created her own run club, didn't even like exercise. Now she got a run club. These are things that happen when you get around a community of self-choosers. Now, self-snoozers is the first comfort and convenience of the day. If you can't conquer the snooze, that's your first commitment to yourself.
And before we sign off here, what would you like to leave our audience with? We have a lot of people listening who may be in the early stages of grief, and nobody really knows exactly how to cope with that, right? I mean, people take different paths. It can be different for different people. But what advice would you have to people?
One thing that we do, but one thing that changed my life was writing my story out. Write your story out. Take 5 parts in your life that literally experiences that change to before and after when you heard about the news or experienced them, and then give them a title as if you were wanting to give this book to somebody to inspire them. So if I lost my little brother and I was playing the victim, I couldn't make the title "Lost My Brother." That's not inspirational. It could be gratitude through grief. Now the title, you finding out what that title is, it takes you out of it and it puts someone else's perception as a priority. And it forces you to flip to a positivity of these 5 situations. So that's one exercise you can do.
I think you don't have to necessarily even be a writer. You might not think of yourself as a writer. You know,
No.
I've written a blog since I lost my daughter, and I wrote it so other people would know they were not alone. I wrote it from that perspective. Like, this is how it feels. This is what I'm going through. But I wanted other people to know they weren't alone. And so I think you could do it even as your own journal.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be something that is professional in any way.
No, and use a pen and paper too for the
Mm.
action to neuro connection. Writing down it takes more attention than just doing this. You got to actually make the letters. But also start with your morning routine. There's a thing called the foundation. Okay. Comes in 7 pillars. It's your nighttime routine, sleep, morning routine without people, screens, or toxins. And you can start real small. You can pray, write down one thing you're grateful for, meditate for 1 minute, get into bed, read a book, read a real book. Just start. That's a 5-minute nighttime routine. Then when you get up, your alarm goes off, go brush your teeth, scrape your tongue, wash your face, cold shower if you can, cold water on your face. Do the same thing. Meditate for 1 minute, pray, write down one thing you're grateful for, and then add some movement. This is 10 minutes around your sleep where it's you versus you. Once you hear those emotions, oh, it's just 1 minute. I don't have to do this. That's the same person like, oh, why me? Why this happened to me? I can't believe I can't process this. Now I'm by myself. How could they leave me? It's the same voice, the ego. It's the one trying to conserve energy to take the easy way out. But you put these small systems around your sleep, and then you have to do what you said. You'll start to notice that voice is different from your intention. It's your emotion. The one that says stay in bed, it's comfortable. The one that says, oh, I can't meditate. I can't control my thoughts. The one that says, oh, one more show, one more sip, one more hit. That one is the same one that's stuck in the past. And your foundation is what you said you would do. And if you want to heal, you have to start by embracing your intention when nobody else is watching. You can't go play sports. You can't go get a bunch of women. You can't go spend money. You can't go be a good parent. You have to be able to heal when you're by yourself to really have that impact on the people you love. And that's the foundation, baby.
Well, I think that's great advice. And I love the idea of people starting small.
Mhm.
But they don't have to start by working out for an hour and a half in the morning. They just have to do some small things, be consistent, keep those promises to themselves, and their life will improve.
That's the way.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. You're so wise. And I'm glad that we can learn from all of your life experiences as well. So thank you for being a guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and everything you do. Y'all keep choosing yourself.
Thank you again for listening to this episode of Grieving Out Loud. You can find hundreds of other episodes anytime on our website, emilyshope.charity. We've put a link in our show notes. We also release a new episode every single week. Until next time, wishing you faith, hope, and courage. This podcast is produced by Casey Wannenberg King and Kaylee Fitz.